The estimated effort from EU is appreciated. The same goes for anyone who would support the Palestinian people in this phase. The Palestinian people would need a huge amount of money, it's more than that. Even the preparations for 3 months that the Gaza Strip might need from 80 to 90 billion US dollar in order to regain the situation before the 7th of October 2023. The size of the devastation is very critical and hard. The complete districts were flattened. Estimators say that 65% of housing buildings either partially destructed, and to remove the rubble might need 10 billion US dollars. And the network of infrastructure of electricity and gas, etc., these are very important matters. And I think that Israel wanted to destroy systematically of that sector, wanted to transfer the life of the Palestinians into hell and to force them to go out of the strip. This is the main core objective that Netanyahu and his allies pursue to. Therefore, if the international community, if I still a term in that meaning still exists, if it is existed, lastly, before we begin the reconstruction which is stipulated in the new agreement, we should pursue the main principles of the real peace. So we cannot just rebuild the homes of the Palestinians and in 5 to 6 years Israel go back to destroy it again. This is not acceptable, and we cannot be tolerant with Israel in that matter.
Yes, and it seems very much from what you're saying that 120 million euros is very much a drop in the ocean when it comes to rebuilding Gaza. With the Rafah crossing set to reopen, what would you say are the logistical challenges in delivering aid to a war-torn region, even if after the ceasefire agreement is put into place, it's relatively peaceful?
There is an approver that the devil laid down in details. Therefore, the reopening and the crossing of Rafah to deliver all the shipments, around 600 daily, into the north. And Egypt was very clear to disseminate all the aid throughout the sector and to be facilitated. Supposedly, the Israeli forces that started to withdraw from the densely population areas that would enable the shipments and the trucks to go everywhere in Gaza. I don't know if the car can be traveling in a very hard roads aren't paved anymore. Israel is very excellent to create hinders, and for the Palestinian negotiator and the three brokers, Egypt, Qatar, and the United States, very be aware of that matter. Unless otherwise, we could evacuate the context of the agreement of the ceasefire.
Well, let's go on to one of the other problems that may arise. The first phase of the deal includes a mutual release of captives. What's the likelihood of that happening, and what are the problems that may arise trying to make that happen?
There are a narrative or a scenario that Netanyahu will get the greatest portion of the captives in order to calm the street in Israel and then create a pretext to continue the construction of Gaza. And another narrative that the main guarantees is Donald Trump. And Donald Trump does not wish to continue the conflict, not in favor of the Palestinian, naturally, but only to be free to go ahead into the China's problem. This matter would be relying on the Syrianness of Trump to have a Middle East that live in peace and with no wars in it.
Now, of course, the plight of the Palestinian people is dire. People suffering on a daily basis, including children and newborn children as well. How are the UN going to coordinate with Israeli and the Palestinian authorities to address the urgent needs like food and medical supplies?
If we do remember, throughout the past 15 months, Israel attacked the United Nations and his Secretary General Guterres as an anti-Semitism and mocked and attacked the International Justice of Court and the ICC, and we've heard threatened by saying that Trump will impose sanctions for these two courts if they made an attempt of held Israel accountable of war crimes. Therefore, Israel, along with the United States, do not believe of the idea or concept of the United Nations and international organization, only believe in this power. So hence, if you in issue one single statement, we found the United States and Israel started to accuse such organization.
And how important would you say the role of Egypt is in ensuring smooth aid delivery?
The Egyptian role is pivotal as the main portal through Gaza, through Rafah crossing, and most of the aid will be entered through which some outlets with Salem and 3 Israeli borders outlets in between Israel and Gaza Strip. Egypt played a greatest role, provided the biggest amount of aids, even the international aids, into the Strip. And I think Egypt's role would continue, consolidated with the Palestinian people to stand on his homeland.
And how are the Gazan civilians reacting to the agreement? We've seen some celebrations, of course, but there must be some concerns that remain.
I couldn't actually get the question very well because the line was cutting off. Can you please?
Yes, no problem, of course. We're talking about the reaction of Gazan civilians. They've been reacting to the news of the agreement. There have been some celebrations on the streets, but there must be some concerns remaining for Palestinian people.
The Palestinian people naturally felt that the great joy, and we found them taken into the street celebrating. Naturally, the announcement did not stop, and tens of the Palestinians were killed in cold blood. The Palestinian people naturally are longing to practice their normal lives and to have an end of the aggression. Do not trust at all of Israel, its intentions and agreement. If Israel had stolen a full land since 1948, so we cannot expect more than that from such a very extremist government.